Yo, what's good? Mike O from Let's Talk About It. Got my man back, Marcus Webb. So
What's going
we're gonna
on? What's
get
going
back
on?
in.
What's good? What's good? Let's talk,
Yeah,
Mike.
no doubt, no doubt. So we're gonna get into a couple things here because this weekend it's a big fight coming up. Uh Tszyu is fighting Sebastian Fundora.
Ooh, it's a
But
good fight.
yeah, on the undercard we got Rolly and he's facing Issa Cruz, Pitbull. So, and we're gonna talk about some other topics here. But
Gotcha.
so this Tim Zoo Fundora fight, it's replacing um,
Keith Thurman.
Keith Thurman. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's replacing the Keith Thurman fight. He got injured during that fight, which I was a little leery anyway with him fighting again, period. And especially just jumping right into a fighter like Tim Tszyu. Because it's not
Right.
like I'm not
Oh,
saying Tim Tszyu is a dominant fighter, but he's definitely not a warm up fight by any stretch.
pretty much so. Keith Thurman is similar to Earl Spence. After the car accident, neither one of them has been the same. You know, and
Yeah,
the unfortunate thing about Keith Thurman is that he has aged now. So he's older, so he's more injury prone,
yeah,
and that makes it very difficult for him to train. So therefore, he had to change up his training strategy, not like a person who's in their mid 20s, but a person who is in a mid 30s, approaching 40. Therefore, you can't work out as hard and do as much. And to be honest, it could be possibly time for Keith Thurman to really just throw in the towel. But I understand that he's doing it all for financial reasons, and he has a new daughter, a new wife, and has a wife. So he's all about supporting his family.
yeah. I mean, it's been 2 years. It's going to be 2+ years. Before if he decides to fight this year, it'll be well over 2 years since he last fought. So yeah, I
You know what?
mean, no, go ahead.
To be honest with you, I would rather see Danny Garcia fight, even though Sebastian, whatever the guy's name is, Danny
Fundora.
Garcia is, yeah, Fedora, yes. Danny Garcia is a good fighter. I liked him in his
Yeah.
last bout when he fought.
Now, I
I,
mean, don't sleep on Fundora. He's a he's kind of who he kind of would remind you of is more like of a Paul Williams fighter. I mean, he's a tall fighter. I think he's like 6'5", but he's
mhm.
slim, so he's
he,
working the jab, but
he,
he's a lengthy fighter.
right, he remind me of Thomas Hitman Hearns.
No.
He remind me of Hearns. Hearns hit hard, tall, lengthy, got that
Yeah.
reach. Uh, I mean, Fedora was initially, just like really beating people to the pulp. And that's what I see with him. So to be honest with you, this is a better
Well,
fight with him versus Keith Thurman.
oh yeah, no, definitely more competitive fight than Thurman. I mean, I think most boxing fans probably just wanted to see what Keith Thurman can still do. But again, going up against, Tim Tszyu, that's not that ain't no walk in the park. I had him, Keith Thurman losing that fight.
Of
But
course, I think that's I think Prime decided to they wasn't getting to subscribers to subscribe for that particular fight because of that reason alone. Now they have replaced him. I think there's people are going to subscribe. The subscription is going to increase because Fundora is a good fighter. Fundora does hit hard. Fundora does have some form of endurance. I believe that Fundora is going to learn from his previous knockout, which was something that he needed to learn, something that he needs to do. Because to be honest with you, he was getting kind of cocky. Saying his defense wasn't as solid, and I'm hoping and that's why he got knocked out. And I'm hoping that he has made some adjustments defensive wise. Because I remember at one point in time he was beating his opponent to a point where he would stick out his tongue and things of that nature. And it's a testament to his age. But I think with a great knockout comes with great maturity, and he has become very mature as a fighter since then.
Yeah, I think in kind of in my opinion, a lot of times where I see fighters with the long arms and tall, a lot of times when they get in moments where they're in having brawls, they're leaving themselves open in a sense to where just because how much how much body they got, they so tall, you kind of leave yourself open because you're throwing longer jabs and longer hooks. But I still think I got Tszyu winning this fight.
I got Fundora winning this fight. I think that Fundora is going to fight tall. I saw in his previous fights, he would clutch down and he would fight short, brawling. As long as Fundora fights tall, keep that hard jab that he has, and continue to land punches, and and show the world, the boxing world, that he has some form of defense. I think he should do okay. And to be honest with you, I think he's gonna put on a clinic and a beating. Like I told you once before.
Wait a minute. Mm-hmm. You said he's gonna put on a beating to Tszyu?
A clinical beating. I would predict this fight's gonna end by 8th or 9th round. You're gonna see a Fundora that's gonna be a totally different fighter, and it's gonna be a systematic beating over a time where you're gonna see Tszyu face is gonna be so bloody. And so, and his eyes are gonna be so puffed up that you're gonna be like, "Wow, I didn't see this Fundora before." But
you're wilding.
Like I told you, a great knockout comes great maturity, and he's gonna learn from his mistake. He's young enough to learn from mistakes. He's young enough to recover from his mistakes. So I see that this fight ended with either TKO by the 8th or 9th round.
I agree with a TKO, but it ain't gonna be Fundora. I think Tszyu is gonna test his chin, and I really, really question Fundora's chin. I really question his chin.
And to be honest with you, Tszyu hasn't. His chin hasn't been tested. His chin hasn't been tested. He hasn't really gotten any real good slugfest where he's really been damaged physically. So this fight right here is going to see what's really in him, and can he take the punishment?
Here's what's interesting, though. So Fundora, he got knocked out by Brian Mendoza. Mm-hmm. That's the dude who knocked him out. And ironically, Tszyu beat Brian Mendoza. So.
But you know what? But great fighters make great fights. So just because one style one fighter could beat one person, doesn't mean the other fighter can do the same thing.
I understand that. Because just proving to my point to why Tszyu's gonna.
I think that if you're gonna see, Fundora is going to work on his endurance, because he was out of breath at that time. When he was out of breath, he left himself open, and he was fighting short. But as long as he increased his endurance, increase his jab, fight tall, I guarantee you, by the 8th or 9th round, and when we revisit this, you're gonna say, "Wow, I never saw it coming." It's gonna be a TKO.
I'm gonna go with 5th round knockout Tszyu.
I'm going 8th to 9th round TKO.
He's gonna test his chin early, and once that happens, he's gonna walk through him. All right.
I believe that he's not gonna have the chance to test his chin. He's not gonna have a chance, and he's not gonna, because from the first round to the 5th round.
Fundora's not a huge knockout fighter.
I know, but his
13 knockouts. Yeah, I'm just saying. I don't think.
How many fights?
How many fights? He's 22-1-1. He has 13 knockouts.
Mm-hmm. Right. I And being that I guess maybe I watched his fights early on. I mean, I watched him over the years. I think Fundora, if he's like I said, if he's mature enough and he get his defense together and he fights tall, I guarantee you that he should stop Tszyu by the 8th and 9th round. We'll see.
I'm telling you, he can't get knocked out twice. That'll be horrible for his career.